I'm here with my wonderful friend Maryanne Pope to revisit one of the most popular episodes on the Compassionate Conversations podcast, which was about noise sensitivity. And you can watch that here and or listen to it. Maryanne is back today. We're going to do a follow-up, and I'm going to start because, as you can tell, if you're watching this by my background, I'm not in my office. I am in Toronto for the month of November. Unfortunately, my mother has advanced dementia, and I'm here trying to get the care for her that she needs. And also, my office at home has been ripped from the studs. It's just basically outside wall now because there was a terrible mold infestation, and it has been remediated, and I won't have my office probably for another month and a half. So I just want to talk about the tiny home, the noises. Now, on the episode that you enjoyed or will enjoy that we did before, Maryanne and I were talking about how as HSPs, we're both sensitive to noise, but that we have different sensitivities. So my sensitivities tend to be around people noise. At least that's what I thought until I was in the tiny home. And Maryanne was talking about outside noise drives her bonkers. So we're both going to talk about noise again, but I just wanted to start with the irony of going to Toronto to escape the noise associated with my office being remediated. I came here. One of the big reasons was I thought it'd be too noisy because these guys would be digging out my office. The fact is, they say, make plans and God laughs. There's more noise in the tiny home than anywhere else I've ever lived in my entire life. So I have some voice memos that I thought would be fun to share with you folks. Okay, so they're there. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get the sound of the two young boys who play hockey next door, and they actually use the side of the tiny home as the wall to hit it against. And it seems their timing, their timing is amazing. They choose times only when I'm in session with clients, and I sit on this couch against the wall, and that's exactly where they whack it. And there's two boys, and they whack for could be up to 3 hours at a time. So everything is loud. So this is about 350 square foot home, and here is each sound. Okay, here's dishwasher. You can probably hear the train right now. There's a GO train that goes by. So for those of you who don't know Toronto, if you live outside of Toronto proper, the GTA, you most likely have to take a GO train to get to the suburbs. So this one goes by approximately, they told me it was twice every hour. The way I counted at times, it can be up to 8 times an hour. So I'll do the train next. That was as loud as I could get, but it's much worse than that normally, and it actually shakes the tiny home. Okay, so dogs. So they have these vicious attack dogs right next door, and every time I move, they start barking, or if they're out there, or doing this. This is my favorite noise. Okay. I think that one's wonderful. It's not people noise, but it's animal noise, and that one really drives me berserk. So Maryanne, suffices to say that I think it's not just people noise I don't like. Yeah, oh, and then there's constant construction as well. It sounds like anvils. Bang, 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 bang. And it's like repetitive, nonstop noise. There's an elementary school, and the kids are let out to run around and scream, and they do that quite often. Kids are that age where they do that shrieking, the high-pitched. Oh, yeah. My followers don't know. Maryanne has been traveling a lot. Tell us how much you've been traveling and where you are now and all about the noise traveling.
Okay. Well, first off, I'm really sorry about your tiny home being so noisy, because I know how much you were looking forward to having that, a room of one's own, some quiet time, especially when you're going through so much stress dealing with your mom, and so much emotional stress as well, too. So anyways, I'm so sorry to hear about that, but ugh. I get it. I get it. It's just sometimes you hit these places and they're just horrible. So what can you do, right? And you're locked in for a month.
I didn't even talk about how dirty the place is. Oh
Oh,
my God. The first 2 days, I think I spent total of 12 hours
are
cleaning.
you serious?
It's disgusting. Not everybody has the same level of cleanliness, I've learned. Yeah. So
No, no,
anyway,
not at all.
tell us more of
Anyways,
your
okay.
woes. Make us laugh, Ma.
Okay, okay. Okay. Oh all right. So noise and traveling. Well, when I was preparing for our today's discussion, I wrote a lot of notes and I basically realized that as an HSP and a writer, I that's a pretty tall order for the universe to be able to travel for 3 months with a travel companion. Oh, by the way, I'm not just an HSP and I'm a writer. I also live alone. So I am now with someone for 3 weeks. It's a very noisy world. We're budget traveling. We're staying some really, not the greatest places that are noisy and stuff. So,
Where
oh
are you?
yeah. Oh, now I'm in Siesta Key, Florida. It's like
Oh,
Golden
you're in
Girls or
Florida. Yeah, yeah,
Three's
yeah.
Company kind of vibe. Yeah, Golden Girls vibe. Oh yeah, it's,
Totally
it's
got
awesome.
that.
Yeah. I love it. Okay, so here is by far the best place because Lynn's mom owns this condo, and it's gorgeous. So we're right out sitting on a lagoon, and then we walk across the street and we go to a beautiful beach, and then we take this free trolley and we go to one of the most beautiful beaches in America, Siesta Beach. So this is just it's heaven here. So here at the tail end of our journey, we've been on the road for 3 months. This is absolute this is heaven for a writer for sure, because Lynn and I both do our quiet things in the morning. We've got our time to write in the morning, then we go to the beach and the pool in the afternoon and watch the stars and stuff. So it's actually perfect. However, the preceding 3 months leading up to it have been rather noisy, shall I say. So how do I handle it as a person who doesn't like noise when I'm traveling about the world? And it's a noisy planet. There's 8 billion people out there and probably just as many cars and trains and planes and stuff. So yeah, it is freaking loud. So the number one thing that I do is I have ear protection. I wear earplugs, and then I have my noise canceling headphones, which are turned on oftentimes. And then if I really, really am irritated, then I will actually also have some soothing music going so I can sort of hear that as well through. So that's kind of my protection. This time around, Lynn and I traveled last year together as well. So this time around, I added another layer, another level, if you will, of noise protection. And it's I got this tip from you, Esther, is what do you call that? A noise machine. So it's like
Yeah.
one of those
White
baby
noise.
things they put. Yeah, white
Yeah.
noise thing. So that's
My
fantastic. So
best
that's
friend. I put it on when my husband eats dinner.
Oh, so I often will have that if Lynn and I needed to share a room, which we don't very often because we tend to get our own rooms because we've learned that we need that. Because I mean, if I'm working and she's doing her thing, we need our own spaces. So I will often, if I do have to share the room with her, like she snores and I snore, so I'll put the noise machine on then. I just can't have it on too loud because I have my earphones in and then I have the noise machine. So then it's super loud for her, right? So again, it's been an experience. There's something interesting because I know we covered a lot about like external noises in the last podcast video that we did. Of course, just for viewers who haven't seen that, like I just super sensitive to construction noise, to traffic noise, to people screaming, talking loudly kind of noise, like any type of external noise like that. Like I just am super sensitive. I always have been, but I'm even more so now because I wear so much ear protection. So my hearing is quite sensitive, even more than normal, I think now. So therefore, when I'm going outside and I'm on a street and a car goes past, it is pretty loud. But this is life. I'm a highly sensitive person. I've got really good hearing, and I also wear a lot of ear protection. So sort of like it all adds up to being very sensitive. But it's interesting. So, Esther, is here's a very, very interesting observation in terms of noise sensitivity. This is a huge light bulb moment that I really didn't get just on this trip that I've known before. But here's the thing about noise sensitivity. And I don't want to say this as noise because I don't mean to be impolite, but you're a writer as well, Esther. So you understand this and you're a deep thinker. So you're familiar with deep work, right? You get in there and you go deep and you need to have that quiet time. So that's where I spend a big hunk of my
Hours a day. I need that.
Hours a day, right? You're writing or you're thinking or you're doing all that deep work where you can't be
Talking out loud to myself while I'm waiting for the streetcar here. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's where all the deep stuff is. Well, when you go on a walk or on a break after that, okay, I'm not going to ask you because you can share your experience in a minute. But when I go on a walk from doing that deep mental intellectual work, then I'm also still thinking and processing, right? I'm still like, there's still ideas coming in. I'm thinking about another scene in a screenplay, or I'm thinking about a part of blog that I missed or whatever. And oftentimes either I'm thinking or I'm not thinking, but the point is I'm quiet and my brain is still processing what I was working on. The difference when I'm traveling with someone, because I don't live with someone, is that I've lost that time. So when I go on my breaks, sometimes we'll be walking alone. And so there's someone talking at me and or talking to me. And that has been a big adjustment. So we've had to really work on having open and honest communication. And so I will go on my morning walks somewhere like in Siesta Key like this on my own, because I need that time to think and to process and to just not have someone asking me, because that constant interrupting, which is just normal, lovely human interaction between friends. I'm not saying anything against Lynn. This is what most people have in their life. They have kids, they have spouses, they have siblings or parents or whatever. People are talking to you. But I notice, because I spend so much time alone and because my work day and my weekends, I'm so much alone, I realized that at first I was actually quite resentful towards someone talking at me. I'm talking to me, asking me questions when I'm walking or going on a train. Look at that. Like I was just like constantly brought out of my reverie, if you will. And I found that really irritating. So I've kind of had to shuffle around and realize that I need my quiet time. And then when we're together, I'm okay with that because I've had my quiet time. So it's just a matter of figuring it all out. But I wanted to share that with you, that, and I think probably a lot of HSPs and introverted type people, or people who do a lot of knowledge workers who do deep work. It's not just when you're got your headphones on and your laptop. It's also when you're going about your day doing yoga and puttering around doing dishes and laundry. You need that time to process. And that is also when noises gets to you.
That's how because we have to metabolize HSPs. We have to chew through many layers of an experience. For example, if we watch a really deep film or something at night, the next morning is like an hour, at least for me, like an hour of chewing through that and what it meant to me and making the connections. And I really need the sanctity of my own space and my own mind to do that. Yeah. See, I'm in a marriage where luckily with my partner, who's also an HSP, we just don't talk in the morning and we do our own processing, and he goes and does his thing, I do mine. So I don't have that problem. But is your traveling companion an HSP?
I think so, but I'm not exactly sure. She's very, very extroverted. Her energy comes from sharing and connecting and being with other people. Whereas I'm the exact opposite. As an introvert, my energy comes. I'm really good with people, you know that, but I am at my core an introvert. That's where my energy comes, from being alone.
That makes me laugh, because when you compare the two of us, Ma, I feel like you're the extrovert and I'm the introvert. But I think you might be a slightly more extroverted HSP than some others. But at the same time, I think you might very well be an introvert, because I know you can do that. I think I can't do what you do. I can't go to a party with a whole bunch of people and be on. I just can't do that. Like I blow a fuse. Whereas you can. And you can do that for a few days and then you collapse.
Do that. And you know, it's amazing. The cruise, that was another hunk of our journey. So we were in Greece and I was on my own for a little bit writing. And then we were traveling through like Budapest and Vienna, Venice, all sorts of wonderful places in Europe for a month. Then we went on a 2-week transatlantic cruise from Barcelona, Spain to Tampa, Florida. So that is really interesting, right? I can be out there with the best of them, dancing on that dance floor, chit-chatting with everyone over dinner, having a ball like that. Then I go back to my room and you won't see me till noon. I'm just reading, happy as a clam. I don't need anyone around me. So, I got the mix.
Yeah, well, I have a little bit of that. Like I love people. I love people's stories. I love just talking to people and getting to know them in little bits. But then I'm done. Yeah. I can only do so much of that.
Yes.
Then I got to hide away. Yeah.
And me too. And so this has been a real challenge at times, being with a friend for 3 months straight, being with someone for 3 months straight. However, like I think I'd said in an email to you, is that Lynn and I are very good friends, and I do want to maintain the relationship. I love being with her and we have a ton of fun. So it's just been I think it's a really good, healthy life lesson for me. It's that, there's always a way if you want to maintain that. And I do, we have a lot of fun traveling together, and it's a different experience. We share things, we laugh, we eat, we share meals, we talk, we make plans together. It's not as stressful traveling with someone else, right? Because we can both go and catch the bus or miss the train or whatever we're doing together. Whereas when you're on, you're always on. When you're on your own, you're always
Yeah.
on. So it's a lot more exhausting. But on the flip side, I get a lot more work done. So anyways, it's been an interesting experience, but I do this all the time. Like I'm traveling so much. So what I've learned though, again, many lessons is that, in terms of me getting my bigger writing projects like screenplays and play scripts finished, I do need to do more writing retreats on my own. So, and that's okay. And I will. And then have some trips where it's just like about having fun and exploring with a friend. That's cool too. So it's all a balance and I'm continually figuring this out. So anyways, I think you wanted me to talk
Yes.
about the
So I wanted to offer our followers a treat, a little bonus at the end here of this little podcast. And that was, we want to give you a taste of what it's like for an HSP to deal with smell sensitivity. Maryanne wrote a hilarious blog post, which we will put in the show notes. So funny, I nearly peed myself laughing, about smell sensitivity. So we'll end this little podcast episode with your story about, I think it was Milan. You were in Milan, Italy?
Yeah.
Okay, tell us.
Okay, it was Milan. So we show up for this divey little studio. It was like a tiny little bed under the stairs for me. It was like Harry Potter bed. And then upstairs was like the studio bed where we put Lynn, because I wanted to be closer to the window and for making coffee because I'm up first. So we walk into this studio and the smell of air freshener was absolutely overpowering. Like it just about knocked me off.
Was it one of like pine or what was the smell?
It was more almost like a Febreze type thing.
Awful.
It was kind of,
Febreze
it was a bit fruity kind of thing. It was horrible.
Febreze
and I hate
makes
kind
me
of that
gag. Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, it just about
chemical.
made me gag.
Yeah.
It's so chemical. And first off, I was like, that's weird. It's super strong, right? And then we opened up the windows and it was totally like right on a busy, busy street. So it was like extremely loud. So I'm sitting there going, great. So what's worse, the absolute stench of this air freshener or the noise of the tram going by and the crazy traffic and horns honking and everyone screaming downstairs? I'm like, I will take the noise because that smell is a health hazard. Anyways.
Let's just stop there. So now the two intersect, the noise sensitivity and the smell sensitivity. Yeah. And even though you're so sensitive to noise, you said that's a better option than the smell.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how bad it was.
That's how bad it was. Absolutely. Bad. And how much I hate noise. Yeah. So it was. And the noise, I thought, well, the noise at least is temporary. Let's deal with that. Put on the headphones or whatever, let it air out. So we left it open. We went out for dinner. We came back. The windows were still open. That smell had not reduced. I went to bed. The smell was so strong. I'm like, is it in the sheets, right? Like, is it a laundry detergent? Is there a plug-in Febreze plug-in, air freshener plug-in hidden under the bed?
They were everywhere. In Greece, they were in the place we were staying. These horrible chemical plug-in.
Then yank those out. But I could not figure out the source of the smell. I couldn't get rid of it. So I closed the window, whatever. I went to bed, woke up the next morning, still just as strong. And by this time, I'm feeling a bit nauseous. Lynn is hacking away upstairs. But get this. Lynn does not have a sense of smell. She has no sense of smell. So I'm the one who told her, I'm like, listen, this is bad. So I complained to the owner multiple times. One thing led to another. I'm like, we're pulling out of here. We paid for 3 nights. She goes, we can't just take a wash on those next 2 nights. I'm like, oh yeah, we can. It's that bad. She says, are you serious? I'm like, you're coughing more. She was coughing so bad. It was brutal. So anyways, we pull up, we say to the guy, that's it. We're moving next door. She started coughing up black specks. Now she has compromised lung capacity at the best of times and asthma, and she does have a cough, but it was that much worse. And so I both wonder maybe that was her lungs way of getting the pollutants out of her system. She says she's never seen that before. Anyways, thank God those black specks stopped. So it was awful. We complained to VRBO and we complained again to the owner. They wouldn't give us any of their money back. And they're just like, no, this was what you were probably laughing at, is like when I went to the owner and I said, come on. So he comes over and he smells it and he's like, that's the smell of clean. And I'm like, no, that's the smell of clean at first. I said, that should dissipate. Why is it still smelling so strong? Then we found out there was probably mold in that apartment because we read one of the reviews. There was mold in the apartment. What happened is they probably did they went and sprayed every inch of that before we went into that room.
Like that's going to get rid of mold. It's going to cover the smell, make people ill.
Yeah. after they cleaned it, probably, and then to get rid of whatever smell. I don't know. I still can't figure it out because, I mean, yeah, in Italy, there was a lot of air freshener smells, but it did dissipate after a while, right?
Yeah.
That's what was weird about this apartment. Anyways, it was just, and again, I know I'm super sensitive to smell, but I wouldn't say it was my sense of smell is anywhere near as sensitive as my sense of hearing.
But I want to commend you on the agency that you had, that you chose to have, that you decided, no, this is unacceptable. And I'm not subjecting myself and my friend who has a compromised, breathing system. And we're out of here. I think that's a really good lesson, because I think HSPs in general, we tend to just freeze and just kind of roll over, play dead. We don't often complain and are not often the squeaky wheel, and we don't get what we want, and we put up with substandard situations and, circumstances that we don't have to. That's one thing that I must say about being in the tiny home. I have complained a lot, and wow, I keep telling them this isn't working, that isn't working. And that's the new me. I think it's also being postmenopausal.
Yes.
Actually, there's a very funny Jewish joke about that. Okay, there's a bunch of postmenopausal Jewish women sitting at a table in a restaurant, and they've been served their meal, and the waiter comes back and he says, "Is anything all right?" For those watching and listening, maybe that's your goal, is to be a little bit more of a squeaky wheel and to assert yourself. We're not meant to be doormats, and even if we're quiet, we do need to use our voices. We have voices. We need to use them. And the thing is, we're never mean or anything. We're kind people. We don't want to hurt anybody. So we're not going to be horribly offensive or say something abusive to somebody. So yeah, maybe that's a little bit of homework for those who are listening or watching this, is to, where can you take a stand, use your voice, and set some boundaries around things that aren't good for you.
Well, exactly. And you know what? That's what made it crystal clear and super easy, is because our health was at risk. So there was no question. And Lynn is a very, very prudent person. Like, she's very fiscally aware. She loves budgets and a good deal and stuff. So she was very, very hesitant to walk away from 2 nights accommodation. And I'm like, I'll take the hit. I don't care. Of course, money matters to me, but my health is more important, and I can smell what you can't. So I am calling the shots on this, and we are pulling out of here. If it was just something that was irritating, that's one thing. But I could tell that I was starting to get nauseous, and I'm like, I'm not mucking around with my health. I absolutely refuse to. So it's funny what we find our voice on, but if it's not our health, what is it?
Excellent. Okay, so why don't we end this there?
Okay.
Thank you for this conversation. It's been wonderful,
welcome.
and I hope people get a lot out of it.